Hello, my name is Ryan Willoughby, and I'm here today to present to you my interpersonal communication project. I attend Liberty University, and this project is for HSCO 508. Slide. Communication is defined as the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information, or to express your ideas, thoughts, and feelings to someone else. This is taken from the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary. Right here you will see a pie chart that I took from the Listening but Forgotten Skill text, where it breaks down all the components that go into communication. The largest component, which is listening, and the smallest component, which is writing. Slide. What is interpersonal communication? The term interpersonal labels the kind of communication that happens when people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the present of the personal. When somebody says she is a good communicator, it basically means that contacts with these persons tend to go smoothly and there aren't many confusions or misunderstandings. There are 6 features which go into communication: meaning, choice, culture, communication, identities, and conversation. And finally, nexting. Overarching goal: to be able to communicate more effectively in my personal and professional interactions. And there are 4 components which go into my overarching goal. Effectiveness will be measured in my ability to be clear, concise, and to exemplify Christ to the best of my ability in my daily interactions. I will work on this goal by becoming more aware of my shortcomings and searching out opportunities to work on my communication through practice. As the old saying goes, practice makes perfect. Next, my focus will be to be supportive in my speech by focusing on my listening. And finally, I will work on making sure that I am absorbing what the other person is saying by enacting my reflective listening skills. Slide. Enlarging the conversation. It will be my prerogative to use my OAG, overarching goal, to enlarge the conversation in my own life. Enlarging the conversation means to understand and to put into practice the act of listening and speaking in order to broaden one's own perspective outside of what is already known. There is an equation that defines enlarging the conversation. Identified needs plus intentional resourcing equals enlarging the conversation. Tools needed will be the ability to probe and ask questions of others to gain insights outside of ourselves. And next, in doing so, we will hope to gain awareness and to be able to more easily take down barriers that prevent us from communicating. Slide. A little bit of background about me. Again, my name is Ryan Alana Willoughby. My parents divorced when I was very young, and I was often pulled between them both, which I think plays a lot into the communication habits that I found myself in my adult age. I don't have close ties with my family members, but I am working on this. I suffer from GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder. I have been married for 3 years. I work at a mental health clinic as a psychosocial rehabilitation case manager. I received my graduate degree in sociology from Georgia Southern University, and I am currently pursuing my master's in human services with a focus on marriage and family counseling at Liberty University. And this is a picture of myself and my husband at our wedding 3 years ago. Slide. Behavioral blend. There are 4 components which go into behavioral blend. D, which stands for determined and demanding, active, task-oriented. I, which is inspiring and influential, and this is active, people-oriented. S, which is submissive and shy, which is passive, people-oriented. And finally, C, which is contemplative and calculating, passive, people-oriented, task-oriented. My top 2 components are I and S, which both tied at a 16. And IS, which are equal, meaning my primary focus is people, and I present both as passive and active in my people interactions. SI, which is a steady influencer, is what is expected of me, meaning I think people expect me to be both inspiring and submissive, outgoing and passive, more relational than functional, and less details with more of a focus on people. The expectation is to improve in crowd enthusiasm and individuals' joy. I am above the midline, which means I am an overachiever and put a lot of pressure on myself to fulfill all 4 areas, and I overexert myself and as a result do not do well in high pressure situations. Slide. Behavioral blend continued. How others see me. The perfect people person, loves crowds and individuals, crowd pleaser and loyal friend. I have some stage fright, but once I overcome it, I have the ability to wow people. I think others want me to be more task-oriented and less relational. There are positives and negatives to my IS communication blend. Positives is I am an encourager and want to help people become the best version of themselves. I am in touch with my emotions, and so I'm more easily able to understand and relate to others. I am focused on getting to know people and value relationships over timely tasks. Negatives. I sometimes burn myself out giving too much of myself. I often lead with my emotions and get hung up on emotions as opposed to facts. And finally, I sometimes miss important deadlines and struggle with time management. The focus on the overall picture but missing the details may be referred to as seeing the forest but missing the trees. Some barriers that I encounter. I am overly emotional, and the remedy to this would be to be more self-aware of my emotions and to be more headstrong as opposed to heart-heavy. This is a term that was taken from Petersen's text. I try to fulfill too many roles, so I need to focus in and master one role at a time. I often interrupt others, so I need to focus on using my reflective listening by repeating and responding. And I need to work on not avoiding conflict by using my assertiveness in my communication. The ability to disagree elegantly without resorting to aggression and without disturbance, and this was taken from one of my journal reviews. Internal noise pollution, negative self-talk. A solution to that will be to challenge the negative by using a relief question and countering it with a positive statement. Fatigue, and a solution to that would be to approach conversations only when I'm fully rested. Time lag, which is basically defining speech in 200 words per minute, but we're able to process the same speech in 300 to 500 words per minute. So there's a lag between both of those processes. So I need to use my interactive listening to fill in the gap, and I semantics filtered through our beliefs, and I need to work on asking clarifying questions. Slide. External noise pollution, which is things outside of ourselves, things such as loud noises with traffic, interruptions, room temperatures, multiple tasks, and speech speed. Most of the time, external noise pollutions are happening outside of our control. However, there are some things that we can do, such as removing ourselves from particular environments or being more self-aware. Slide. Action plan. Step 1, to focus primarily on my listening skills, interpreting messages more clearly, and to not be ruled by my emotions. Step 2, make an effort to not interrupt by focusing on absorbing all that is being communicated. Step 3, self-disclosure, working on filtering my own speech by questioning the reasons behind it. And finally, step 4, focus on situations that cause me to become frustrated. Identifying these situations will help my judgment not be as clouded. Slide. And finally, my bibliography. I hope that you've learned a lot about communication. I know that I certainly have. Thank you.